problem child. Don't treat me wrong. Full of dead like the way life some problem to pressure. Coconut child. Don't treat me wrong. Keep me from the
Alright, so if you guys have seen that, I was just testing out a couple different things with the Guardian. Now, this is by no means one of the worst class, if not the worst class in Black Desert Mobile currently. This class is very slow, doesn't really do anything, it has horrible immunity, horrible stats, it's just horrible all around. However, within that weakness, there lies something, and that is the desire to make it work. So, like all the other classes, horrible ones that I have done in the past since the birth of the channel, it's only right that we do the same for this class. So how do we make this class work? Now, I've thought about a couple different ways of making this class work. Obviously, the only thing that's holding it together is the combo damage. So after thorough calculation of how much this thing can do in a single stagger, I've calculated that this class is capable of doing somewhere around 43 to 47,000% damage. Is that great? By no means, no. Like, there's so many other classes that deals way more damage with less risk. This combo in particular is actually quite risky, because this Guardian have very low CC frames on its skills. And the CC frames are often late, or because of the wind up taking too long, an enemy can replenish their status resistance the moment you want to cast a skill. And this is the reason why this combo is pretty risky, especially if you're slowed. Most of the time it will not work. However, there are ways that we can work around that, and that's by shortening the combo and make it work. However, it will pretty much diminish the amount of damage, making the total damage output from 44 to 47% damage. It's gonna go all the way down to 37 to about 34 to 37% damage. Yeah, so this one is the only thing that I see that can actually work. I've tried probably every single combo combination for this class. I've done a lot of different rough calculations as well for other forms of combos. I've looked at so many different replays of Guardian on YouTube. I've seen a lot of different people do different combos. However, I have found that this combo that I'm going to be showing you is by far the most consistent. And it's not just the most consistent, it is actually the only one that, in my opinion, can work. So, how does this combo work? And this is actually going to be pretty funny, because you guys, for those of you who play Guardian, you might already see it. I don't have Avalanche Cleave, which is the main knockdown skill. And you might be right that, oh, I think this skill is pretty damn important, especially for a class like this. And you would be right. You would be right. However, I found a different way of making use of another skill, and that's gonna be the Frigid Talons. Now, this one is actually, it's actually quite funny, because the way this works is, we're gonna be utilizing this skill's technology. This thing has decreased DP, which makes enemies softer, whilst the Avalanche Cleave has no technology aside from Bleed, which deals very little damage. So, how does this work exactly? So, if you see here, Flow Sunder, hold the skill button for an additional attack, same damage as Avalanche Cleave. How much damage does Avalanche Cleave have? It's about 468 times 3. Let's call that 4.5, 4.5, 900, 1350, roughly. We can round that up to about maybe 1.4k. Not really. It's a lot closer to, well, it's probably around 1.38 something, yeah, for sure. Now, this one, Frigid Talons, deals 1.5k 4k. Plus, because you reduce enemies' DP, you're actually dealing more damage. Because the way CP scaling works in normal arena is, if you have less DP, you will take basically more damage. And this thing scales with the rest of your skills as well, which makes the rest of your skills hurt more in contendant to their minus DP and your attack increase. You have an attack increase through your Cascade and your Bone Chill, which will do a lot of damage. So what you want to do is you want to increase your AP first, and you drop an enemy's DP, and the rest of your skills will pretty much be hurting more. So out of all the skills that I see here, this one seems to be the only one with consistent defense drop. This is also a good option, this almost admonition. However, the knockback deals way too little damage, and that is why we opt for using the Astral Descent or using the Gate Crusher instead. Now, this one, Gate Crusher, deals very good damage. It deals pretty close to around, let's just count that together, 743, let's call it 750, times 2, that's 1.5, and because it hits 4 times, roughly about 3000 base power. Granted, it doesn't have any branches, so that's also a downside. However, this is simply used as a damage filler, and this, even without branches, deals way more damage than, obviously, Oumuo Admonition's knockback. Because this thing, the knockback only deals half of the Oumuo Admonition's damage, which is only about 1.3 plus K percent damage. So obviously, this doesn't hurt as much. Thus, why we're using Gate Crusher instead. Gate Crusher also have very good range, and this can be used to reposition or to threaten people that are just waiting for you. So you can actually, this thing has about half the arena range, so you can use that to threaten someone or maintain pressure from pretty far away. True, the cast time is pretty long, so you want to be very, very careful before casting it. It does have a very long wind-up, but you can chain this with your Bone Chill and also your Frigid Talons, which is pretty useful sometimes. So, a lot of you might not see me using Hellfrost, which I used a lot in the last one, I think. Now, how much damage does Hellfrost do? Hellfrost does a lot of damage. This thing does 1.7k times 2. So, roughly about 3.4k percent damage. So this thing deals a lot of damage, guys. Actually, a lot of damage. However, this, in particular, is not usable. Why? Because this is a knockdown. I mean, it's a knock up, but it's basically a bound type skill. So because of that, we can't use this, we can't trigger the Empower twice in a single stagger, which is a waste. Why? Because the fact that having double the damage, about 3.4k percent damage, is nowhere near Cascade, which also gets a boost. Cascade deals 411% damage times 6. So roughly around 2400% damage, and you can use this twice. You can actually stagger someone twice. You can actually do this thing twice. On a daze, on your combo, and also at the very end as your damage filler. So by doing that, it enables you to play in a very high tempo. It allows you to deal more damage more quickly. So because of that, we decided to use Cascade instead of Hellfrost. Obviously, Hellfrost deals more damage per cast, but because you can only cast it once, this is a better alternative. And it also deals more damage on the first portion of your combo before your grab. So that's also one thing that I want to talk about. Next, what I want to talk about is just disclaimer alert for everyone who's watching this and, oh my god, Guardian is so good. Guardian is not great at all. It's not great. It's absolutely horrible class. Probably the most horrible that I have ever seen. I've never quite seen a class this bad before, but we just have to make do with what we have and squeeze every single bit that we can to make the class somewhat viable for arenas. Next, what I want to talk about is actually quite simple. This is also something that I learned from watching a couple replays and also trying it out on myself. So the way that this grab, the Earth Slam, is actually quite funny. So this, when it fails, has super armor. it lasts for about 1 second, and this thing has super armor in arenas, so you're protected even if you fail the grab. However, the last portion of the grab recovery, the failed grab recovery, is actually not protected. So you can sort of not immediately dodge away the moment you see your dodge fail. I mean your grab fail. So you can use that to extend your immunity. And honestly, guys, if you're using Guardian, just grab open, all right? Like, there's no need for you to go through all the bullshit. Your grab opening damage isn't even high, so don't worry about moral values. The rest of the class you see in arenas are way more unfair. Yacha's grab opening with a full stagger, with full crit and AHIP proc does about 70 to 80% damage. 80%, guys. 80% of the enemy's HP in a single grab opening. Yours can probably do somewhere around 35 to 40% at best, given that every single branch proc and every single hit crits. So don't feel bad about it. If you absolutely need to grab open, just do it. Don't worry about it, alright? Now, how do I think they can actually improve this class? In my opinion, what they needed to do is to give this class an identity. Given that this class is holding a shield, I would probably say they can 100% make this class tanky. How much damage reduction does this class need? To be perfectly honest with you guys, a class this bad and this slow needs at least 20%. Why? Because a fast class like Berserker has 20%, and he's not really holding a shield. And then you have classes like Mystic, like Grandmaster with 30%. So that's actually something that we need to talk about as well. Lastly, what I want to talk about is, I want them to actually think about giving this class a spell amp or PvP damage dealt passive, because unfortunately this class is simply too pathetic. It just deals very little damage per trade. So this is actually quite sad. It's not just in arenas but also in field. It feels like it does no damage, guys. It feels so sad, like it's dealing absolutely no damage. It's horrible. It's a horrible feeling to have, but it is how it is. So this is actually the first thing and the last thing I want to talk about before we start with the rest of the video. Now I'm just gonna cut the video here just so I can show you a bit of portion of the arenas so you guys know what's going on. Alright, so now we are now here. I am going to show you what it looks like on normal arenas with this new combo. So the combo is actually quite simple. What you're gonna do is basically you're gonna use, let me just go to skill practice and show you how the combo works. So this one is pretty simple to do. What you're gonna do is you're gonna use Shield Blitz once. Once enemy gets stunned, you're gonna use your Cascade, and then you're gonna use your Bone Chill. And then you're gonna use your Gate Crusher, and then you're gonna use your Frigid Talons twice, yes, twice, into another Bone Chill, into a Grab, and then you're gonna use Cascade again, and then Bone Chill, and you can either disengage here, or you can actually half cast the Gate Crusher, and then you can dodge. It will look something like this. This is pretty much how you do the combo. I'm gonna show you how to do it a little bit faster on how it will look like if you're actually doing the combo. Now for this, I need to wait for the cooldown of the Gate Crusher first. Right, it's gonna look something like this. Like so. Alright, this thing does very good damage. So you can actually try this out later on your own if you want to. But I have some arena clips that I want to show to you guys. And I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Have a good day. And enjoy.